Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Today I wanted to talk about this. It's a question I get all the time. It starts out with, man, this is taking so long. How do I speed this up? How do I get better fast? So that's the topic. How do I get better faster? So, want a little feedback from you. A little bit of debate in my audience as to whether or not the micro meditation is useful or not in the beginning. So, smile, relax, drop your shoulders, slow your breath, slow your thinking. Keep doing that as I talk. So how to get better faster? Slow down. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but it is the way to go. Now, obviously, we need to really take a look at the foundation. What are you trying to get better from? A mind-body condition. You're trying to get better from perceived danger, creating pain or symptoms. Okay, so we have to understand how the human system works, the brain, the nervous system, the pain system, the symptoms. We have to understand the interplay between symptoms and the brain and its fear level, right? We got to really understand the system, because that's like trying to say, I'm going to go fix my car, but I don't know anything about engines. Right? We have to understand it. And let me back up. We're not fixing anything. We're kind of reprogramming the computer system in the car, because the car is working fine. The system is working fine. In the case of chronic symptoms, we have alarm systems that are going off. It's kind of like the check engine light is on in the car, but it's not due to a problem with the engine. In many cases, the check engine light is on because the sensor is off or the computer is malfunctioning. So, enough of that analogy. How do we get better faster? We have to understand the system, how the system works. Then we have to figure out, are my symptoms behaving like symptoms coming from the brain perceiving danger? Right? Once we understand that and we say, okay, physical symptoms would not behave the same way my experience has shown. Right? There's an assessment. Go to painfreeyou.com and download the assessment, and then take any symptoms you're concerned with and run it through those questions. And think about the questions and say, would I possibly answer this true if my body was the cause? Likely not. So take some time with the assessment. But we really want to start to focus on clarity, certainty, and making a decision to accept the results from the assessment. Right? Eliminating doubt will speed things up. Because if you hold on to doubt, well, I don't know if I trust the assessment, or my symptoms feel so real, holding on to doubt delays recovery, and that means it will take longer to get better if you still doubt that your brain is creating symptoms based on fear and the perception of danger. So we have to lay that foundation. And if you are weak in any of those areas of the foundation, you don't understand the symptoms or system, and you don't know whether or not that applies to you, it's going to take a while to get through this process, right? So what do we do next? Once we understand that our symptoms are created by a brain perceiving danger, and we have that clarity and we've made the decision to accept that, now we can speed it up. How? Not by focusing on symptoms, not by fixing symptoms, not by doing 14 practices a day to regulate the nervous system. I believe that your brain and nervous system is working perfectly. It's just operating on fear and misinformation. So we don't fix the nervous system, we don't regulate, we don't do all those things. The brain knows how to manage the whole system. What I suggest is that we feed the proper information, the accurate knowledge, to the brain consistently. We're focusing on safety, and that accurate knowledge and focus on safety effectively neutralizes the fear and can turn off the alarm systems. So it's counterintuitive, but the best way to speed this up is to spend a couple of minutes focused on fundamentals, right? I forget who it was. Maybe it was Abraham Lincoln. Fastest way to cut down a tree is to sharpen the axe first. Spend more time sharpening the axe, sharpening the axe, sharpening the axe. Then when you go to cut down the tree, it's going to cut so much better and faster. But if you just start whacking away and trying to chop down the tree with a dull axe, you're not going to get it. Clarity and understanding the symptoms is the equivalent of sharpening the axe. Because what we really want to do is have accuracy, clarity, certainty, so that when we start conveying safety, it's built on a foundation of accurate knowledge of what's going on. Because if you don't know what's going on, good luck. It's going to be really tough to teach this scared, overprotective brain that you're actually okay. So I did a video yesterday where I talked about setting the objective for the brain. And the objective is to remain clear and neutralize the fear and focus on safety. Notice, none of that included stare at the symptoms and really fight with them until they go away. No, the objective is neutralize the fear so that the brain can turn these alarm systems off. So the fastest way to get better is clarity. Do that initial homework up front. Understand the symptoms or system. Determine if the symptoms are mind-body. And if so, make a decision to accept that now. Sole focus on I'm already okay. Mentally, physically, emotionally, I'm okay. I'm going to treat myself better, because if you're beating yourself up and blaming yourself for all this stuff, the brain doesn't kind of view that as safe, does it? We want to respond as well as possible to the symptoms. Let's respond calmly. Why would I get upset when I realize it's a false alarm? How upset do you get when the smoke detector's going off in the kitchen and you know there's no fire? It's a little annoying, but shouldn't be terribly scary. So, how do you speed it up? Clarity, certainty, calm. Panic less, freak out less. Remind yourself of the truth, which is I'm not broken. And drop the calendar. I know the video topic here is how to get better faster. We don't get better faster by looking at the calendar and counting the days and saying, well, somebody else got better in 2 months and I'm at 3 months, and so I'm going to be extra mad. That's not the way to speed it up. Stop looking at the calendar. Be less focused on the outcome. They say outcome independence is great. It's because you'll get better faster when you don't care when it happens. We want to show the brain that we're not in trouble. We don't show the brain we're in trouble by working tirelessly hours a day trying to fix these symptoms. All that does is convey to the brain that these symptoms are a huge problem that we really need to get rid of. And if I'm staying mad, upset, despondent, full of despair, hopelessness because I've got these temporary symptoms, we're feeding the wrong information into this brilliant computer called the brain. So if you want the brain to turn off the symptoms, we have to think, act, and behave as if we're already okay, because we are. See how that works? So symptoms will settle down when you no longer care when they settle down. Stop counting the days, months, years. That's not helping. Eliminate the doubt. Understand the system. Decide to accept that you've got a mind-body condition, which means your brain's perception of danger is the cause of the symptoms, and therefore conveying to the brain consistently that I'm okay is the solution. So if you want to speed it up, stop fixing symptoms, because focusing on symptoms says, I got a problem. Symptoms are my problem. No, focus on safety. Start to re-engage in life and start to do things you enjoy. Crowd out the symptoms with more living. Live more, fix less. There's nothing to fix. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope everybody is doing well. And if you're not a subscriber yet, please subscribe on YouTube. By the way, thank you, folks. Hit 63,000 subscribers. Totally humbled by that. If anybody needs some help, check out the group, painfreeyougroup.com. If you ever need those links, look in the description of every video I post. You'll find those links. And as usual, I love you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.